You ready?
Freddy Eddie.
We're at the final day trial. Here it comes. Answers at long last.
Never forgetty.
About the
Mom spaghetti.
about the crime that took place in a one day, or did it?
Or what? Or like two, or like one, or like.
So here's the thing: is people have been commenting on it, and apparently, because it comes up in other contexts too, like apparently this was supposed to be like a serial killer that was at large for like 6 months or something like that. And that one part that we were confused by about it seeming like how everything in the entire trial happened in one day was just like a bad translation.
Oh, well, that's not our fault.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm like, It's like, I get it. I get that that's an explanation, but it doesn't really excuse it.
No.
Because this is the version that all of us have played.
Well, but this
like
is
everyone who's ever played this in the audience played this version with this translation. It's like they should have, like, one, they should have translated better in the first place and been like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. But clearly, like, this should be like a widespread problem people know about by now, because it's, you know, Phoenix Wright, and it's been around for like this version's been around for like 10, 20 years or something. Like something like 10 years. It's the DS version, I guess. So this takes me back to the Zero Escape problem, which is you're re-releasing it on a bunch of platforms. This is on like Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and PC. And it came out like maybe 2 years ago. Is this version we're playing right now? Maybe fix it? Maybe fix the known problems in the game when you're porting it over. If it's like, there's some things that's like, oh, we're porting over Mario 64, and like, you know, it's an old ass platformer. It might be clunky and awkward or whatever. And it's like, that's just foundational to what the game is or whatever. But like a translation problem, maybe fix that.
I was like, a game like this, like a translation problem is like a huge
because
issue.
It's the whole game.
It's all dialogue.
The text is the game.
But I can maybe see them not noticing it. Like, there's a lot to read. Maybe these people are like, they're phoning it in. They're like, I don't want to have to do all this again.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Like maybe that would happen the first time.
Maybe no one noticed.
And then they couldn't patch it or something because like it's on the DS or whatever. But like the 10 years later, like re-release, like by then maybe fixed like the glaring plot hole, like translation problem that surely the audience is like wildly aware of by then, and they must have known about by then. What comes to mind when I said it's the Zero Escape problem, it's because Zero Escape and 999 came out on like the PSP and the DS or something like that. Like I think one of them was a PSP or Vita only game, and then the sequel was on both or something like that, and it spread out. In the second game, Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward, the character Clover has a bug where she smiles the entire game. Because they're all 3D character models in the second game instead of sprites. And she has a bug where no matter what is happening, including many murders, she's always smiling, like in a cute, like poke your own cheek kind of way. And she has that expression on no matter what, which is hilarious in part because she has she is the most frequently tragic character in all of Zero Escapes, like the first two games. She's constantly having like bad things happen or to and around her, and murders happening to all the people she cares about, and it's like she's always like the saddest person basically, and she spends the entire second game smiling because of a bug where that's the only expression that displays for some reason over all of her other expressions. And I'm like, okay, that's a bummer that bug happened the first time around. They really should have fixed it before it ever came out. But the version I know is dead. But on top of that, the version we were playing on the channel is like this. It was a port made like a decade later, and I'm like, why didn't you fix Clover's smile bug?
See, that's more egregious, I think. I think this. Like,
I was expecting people to say like it was a bug that happened in this version somehow, but like no, it's from the original version, and they just didn't fix it in the re-release. So like, why wouldn't you? Come on! Like,
I just don't. I think there's too many. I think there's already too many naturally occurring plot holes. They don't notice the one that they created on accident. I almost think like, I don't know, I just think there's too much going on no
Maybe
one
something
notices.
that
Or they say,
glaring.
oh, it's not that big of a deal. No one will care. I can see that happening too.
Like, it just takes a couple of playtesters to just play this chapter and be like, and then just have them like try to just hit, like it's a relatively straightforward test of like having them like, okay, please tell me what you think the plot is, and if they're wrong, then you might be like, uh-oh, what happened?
Hey guys, you want to hire Keith and I, and we will play your games, and then we will talk about what the plot is. And we're both different people. We have different perspectives. We'll cover a lot of ground, and we're both generally intelligent people. So I think you guys should hire us. We'll play your games for you.
Move chair.
No.
Space myself in front of the microphone better, but it's hard. This is the defendant lobby, all right, but there's no defendant.
So it's just a lobby now.
I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if...
Something's been happening behind the scenes. Mystery voice.
Oh, Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is.
Well, you said every 7 differently.
Yeah.
With different...
77777. 7?
7?
7?
7.
7.
Ooh. It's a saucy 7.
Saucy 7. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. I almost made you spit your drink.
I was drinking out of a can. Keith almost made me spit.
Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there's still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once old doubt has been removed from the list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something. The only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? That's always threatening. I'll see you in court!
Yeah.
This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now.
I hope no one ever says that to me.
Here comes our last day in court in the whole game. Unless there's a surprise epilogue or like 4th day or some shit.
Or you guys just have a party in the courtroom.
Yeah. This franchise whole feels like it's rife for that idea of like, oh yeah, the 3-day rule? Well, here's how we escalate things. Boom. In the sequel, there's like a twist court case where there's a 4th day. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Impossible has happened. And like, fuck.
There's new legislation moving it from 3 days to 4 days from this point forward.
Yeah. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally this is when prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. I'm gonna really feel the lack of female characters this session, aren't I?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's just 4 dudes.
I will say it makes you seem impressive. You're like voicing several characters to yourself. You're basically like one of those voice actors that like what's the one guy from The Simpsons that voices like freaking everybody?
Oh yeah.
Or like Rick and Morty.
Or the
like
guy from Dragon Ball Z. secretly voices every character in the show, basically. I'm just happy that Gumshoe's not here. His voice hurts me.
Oh.
I like Gumshoe, but the voice I chose for him has the most wear and tear out of anything in this game.
He's a recurring character. You shouldn't have done that.
I didn't plan any of this.
It just happened.
I just see the character and I'm like, I don't know, probably this.
See, but the audience doesn't know you're also actually voicing me because I'm not real.
Yeah, no, I made you up.
Yeah, no, I'm a fake.
I hired an actress in all those live action scenes.
Yeah, that person's name is Veronica.
And then I overdubbed them. Veronica and Jared.
Yeah, fuck you, Jared. Jared fucking sucks.
The deep lore. God, I'm straight for this guy. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, G, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is from my own work.
You don't do shit, Judge.
I don't know
what the fuck do you do?
What does he do?
What do you do?
He sits here for like 2 hours a day and other people do all the work.
And he looks surprised.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can't top that.
So he thinks it's fucking funny too.
If you don't mind me asking, Chief, what exactly is this proposal of yours?
Will you marry me?
The fucking pause he does is so sinister.
It is
It's always
scary.
like 5 seconds of silence in a game that never has a pause.
And he has that smile, so it's very like ominous.
Yeah. Lana, that is to say the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court.
Good. Hey, maybe
She wants to do what?
maybe you will be relieved with the female character.
Oh my god. Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. I mean, she admitted guilt instantly, so that won't be much anything new if she just does it again.
Well, I think that's why he wants her to talk, because I think he's like, oh, well, like he's obviously blackmailing her or whatever. So he's like, oh, just say that you fucking did it in front of everyone,
Yeah.
so we can just go home already.
He could not be more heavily telegraphed to be the villain of this entire plotline. Mm-hmm. What's this all about, defendant?
I would just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished.
Well then, what's your request?
Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial.
Huh?
I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office.
No, Lana.
No.
You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services.
But Lana,
Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. A request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise.
this can't be happening.
It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Of course. It always happens.
One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. This is just nothing about this is how courts work
No.
in any country, really.
Well, he's basically arguing against his own cause.
This is a fucking court system that runs entirely based on the rule of cool and nothing else. It's the only law. I don't know, what would be cool right now? Like, fuck it.
That should be the only law.
Yeah, the rule of cool.
Some fucking My Cousin Vinny. Like, every cool court movie ever. Like, every time something weird and wacky happens, it's always the best.
Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you.
But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, hmm? I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. I don't know which one of us is the superior officer here. I'm confused by this universe.
Yeah, I am too, actually.
Which one of them's the other one's boss?
Look at neither. They shouldn't be related at all.
They shouldn't be, but it seems like the prosecutors run the police, but he's higher ranked in the police than he is in the prosecutors, so I don't know. There's an authority tug of war here where I can't tell who the winner is.
Well, it's a rule of cool.
Gant definitely commands the room.
Yes, a rule of cool. Who's cooler? Gant, I think, has kind of a lock on this. He's a big stature, and he's got his evil smile.
Even if he has like saggy pecs.
His saggy pecs. I guess so. Yeah.
His left, the stage left pec has a confusing line to describe its curvature.
Stage left
right?
pec. Yeah, I do. But
like the right one it goes up. The line goes up. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. The left one has like a booby line, but I'm like, wait, what's going on there?
You know what? That is a little.
And they're very protrudy. But that one's like very bottom heavy, whereas the other one's more even. And I'm like, these lines are confusing.
He's put a lot of thought into this.
He's this giant man that's bursting out of his suit, but the lines are confusing.
You know, I do agree. The lines...
They look weird, and also they're sticking out so much.
Those lines shouldn't curve inwards so much as they go up.
Yeah.
They should kind of like taper.
There's a shine around them, like somebody was drawing like boobies, like if somebody just was wearing like a sports bra and nothing else, but it's a suit that's several layers deep. Like he's wearing multiple shirts, and through all that, he has like the harshest lines.
It's like every anime ever, where like the girl's like, "I'm wearing a school uniform," and I'm like, "That looks like it's made of spandex."
Yeah, it's such a drawn line that I half expected to get removed, and then like the Western version, and then people be like, "How dare you censor this release of this Japanese game? Where are the vagina bones?
How am I supposed to loot him now?"
He has an undercleavage. Are you seeing that line?
Yes, I am.
He has one line of undercleavage, kind of, and I'm like, I'm just confused by his physiology. Like I don't know how it works.
You know, Keith, I'm gonna think about this the whole rest of the game. I hope you're proud of yourself.
You weren't already?
No, well, because there's like that, there's the dialogue box, and I just don't really think about that area of the world. Like
he would make a lot of sense if you just deleted those 3 weird lines. But those 3 lines stand out so much, and I'm like, what are you?
Someone at the last minute decided to go in there and like to loot him.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? I want to make this guy stand out a little bit. And that guy on his last day goes in and adds some lines to Chief Gant.
Like curving shadows would imply that he has like a chest. But but those lines imply that there's like straight up like ripples in the shirt, like there's cleavage going on, or like it's protruding so far that it leads to like there being an outline of some kind. And I'm like, huh.
Maybe it's a part of the case, Keith. Maybe that's the twist. Is that
he's hiding the victim in his shirt. Like a murder weapon or some nonsense is just there. We did that last case.
Bullet.
Yeah, with the fucking metal detector. Maybe. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be.
Papa.
No more, Papa. No more cleavage, Papa. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony.
Hold it. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue.
I don't care what you think, Miss Sky.
What?
The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Cat?
Why do we care?
Yeah, it's not like
He's not any of the people in
yeah.
this case.
Isn't he a? He's
And he has
acting
no
as a
authority over Emma
Yeah.
either.
I don't
Even
know.
though we let him just take her.
Yeah,
That's
like
the last time we saw her.
yes,
Distressing.
it's distressing.
Worthy, you'll live to regret this, mark my words.
That's not a fucking ominous thing to say in front of everyone.
Yeah. Just overtly threatening people. Then again, we got away with just blackmailing somebody into confessing in the middle of a trial.
Yeah, but we're
That was
that
was the papers in the statue case.
but we're the good guys, so it's okay if
Yeah.
we do things like that.
We're a hard-boiled defense
Egg.
attorney that don't follow the rules. Hard-boiled egg. God damn.
I've been exposed to so much heat that I'm just rubbery inside.
Oh, my yolk's gone solid.
Confusing metaphor.
There's nothing tough about a hard-boiled egg at all, so it's it's just a weird expression.
Yeah, I never understood the hard-boiled detective thing.
Yeah.
Miss Emma Sky, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Okay.
See, there are girl characters in this.
Yay, they're all two of them are here.
Woo!
Oh yeah, there's a third one in this case, but we're done with her.
My lunch lady.
She hasn't really had anything to do since the first day.
Come back, lunch lady.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma Sky. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct?
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
Tough titties.
But I'm afraid you're going to have to. I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
And then again, and again, because the cross-examination process.
Yes.
How fun. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
That's what I asked, and then this game happens, and I
Yeah.
say, well, I guess every single thing is relevant.
Yep. It's the holistic approach to crime solving. We need to get the right lottery numbers, and then we can win this trial.
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then.
He just accepts it. He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
he's just used to it by now. He sure gave in fast. Why do you look disappointed?
I think he's just upset by how wishy-washy your judge
Yeah.
is, considering his job.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Yep. He reminds me of someone who just repeats the last thing they heard as if they're an authority. Maybe on the news on a daily basis. Maybe somebody who has a lot of power.
Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago.
The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. Isn't that been most of our case? It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Do it.
Just so like, I'm confused. What's happening?
I'm 12. What is this?
Where am I? I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. It was a turnip head.
His head.
The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
Is it?
What? Damn.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I just like
Christ.
making fun of Emma.
Yeah, no, she sucks.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
That's not like a death sentence.
I know.
That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for courage, considering he has no evidence.
He's also our opponent. We're the ones that have to do it.
That's how you get your way through life. Is you fake it till you make it. You got to throw out that confidence.
That's apparently what Phoenix does because he never has a plan. He's just like he admits on a regular basis that he has to pick a particular option and route because like, well, this has to work out because I have nothing else to go on. He just says that out loud.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day.
Objection! 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yes. She was second in command under then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office.
That's right. I always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ.
Just fucking go for it.
I wanted to play it that day, too. I was gonna say, is this gonna be related? Is the organ gonna be a crucial plot point?
Yeah, it's alive. That's why it's called an organ.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's the organ's made of people.
The other people in it, and then whenever you push the buttons,
he just stuffs them in.
It's going through their windpipes. That's kind of a gnarly idea. I want to make that a metal song.
I think I've seen like a organ that was made of like intestines and shit.
Cool, dude.
Something. Because it's just an obvious pun. And so I think somebody went for that. It was like a macabre thing. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day.
Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me.
Oopsie, sorry. We're back at green text. Hold it! A man?
Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer.
Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right?
But he turned himself in, so that's weird.
Also, a judge shouldn't be putting in information like that.
Yeah.
Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skye in Gant's office.
Oh, he rode the elevator to get there. That makes it even stranger, kind of.
There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him.
What noise?
What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony.
So he was a prosecutor dressed like that.
Yes.
He wasn't even an investigator, he was a prosecutor.
Yeah, are you surprised?
Yes.
Yes.
What is this universe?
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in?
I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Did you just say you weren't clear what happened then?
Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out.
Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right. But just then lightning flashed again outside. Like in a movie. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
This power outage just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is the first we've heard of this.
Completely new information.
And also, this makes everything so not trustworthy.
Yeah, so all the murders happened in the dark. I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim.
Hear more. Why'd you say stop?
What are these fucking non-options in this game? It has so many fake choices that make no sense. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago?
Yes. That's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman what you saw?
Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before.
Oh, that's the picture we found on the back of the evidence sheet.
Of stabbing?
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't put that together before. Or maybe I did. I don't think I did. It wasn't that one. That one, that one, that one. So she drew that. I just thought Gant was being sadistic and liked to draw the thing that he saw. For fun.
That's the silliest shit. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? How would I stop? This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture.
It was on the back of the list. Also, you only have half of it. Duh.
Witness, would you mind if we added the statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost.
You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right?
Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes.
That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken.
But I did try, I swear. I'm not just imagining it.
This picture that Emma drew, that reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again.
We already did.
Well, anyway, let's continue. This scene that imprinted an image in your mind. Can you please describe it to us?
The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
Hold it! That must have been a real shock.
Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly.
Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage.
When lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other.
Wrestling.
It was so cute.
Oh, is this mud?
I'm pretty sure I was watching them.
Emma doesn't have any reason to lie.
I'm pretty sure I was watching them.
But Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much about this as she can.
Should have done this before.
Yep.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day.
We've been with her for multiple days, and this is the first we're getting of most of this testimony.
You could have asked her all of this ahead of time.
Yep, we had so much time, and it wasn't where we didn't even have to like do a system to like get to it. Like we could have just fucking talked about this.
You can present
It seems
the
to
picture.
have been lost, or was it?
Objection.
Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture.
She drew it with all of her imagination and creativity and all of her spirit. She's put it all into this.
Really mediocre drawing.
Yeah. Wow. Oops. It's really hard to get it oriented correctly. There we go. Wow. What an art. It doesn't even look like a knife.
What an art.
Yeah. I love the art piece where two copies of the Thinking Man are in a fight where one of them's going to stab the other one with chalk.
The one on the left kind of looks like it's a Keith Haring.
A Keith Haring?
Keith Haring, yeah. The guy's this little...
Is that like me, but distracting?
Oh my gosh. The more famous Keith than you.
Is the Keith Haring just whenever I have a tangent during this playthrough?
So it's you all the time?
Yeah. It looks like chalk. It doesn't even look like a knife.
Did you remember?
I'm gonna kill you with a pixie stick.
You ever watch a pup named Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
Remember Red Herring, the person?
Oh god, the bully. Yeah,
Yeah,
his
the
name Red Herring, and
bully.
he got accused of every crime.
Fred
Every time.
Fred fucking hates him because he bullies Fred. So
Yeah.
Fred's like, it had to be Red Herring.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't do it, idiot. I was with my mother yesterday. And he is never
Yeah,
him.
He's always there to explain. He always has an explanation. He is like an alibi every time.
Yeah.
Until the one time it was him.
Yeah, there was one time it was him. That's actually why I knew what a red herring
Just like
was.
the one time it was Lupus.
Lupus?
Oh, that was a running joke. Is that it's in Dr. House. Dr. House in House MD. Is that it's never Lupus. Because Lupus comes up as one of the potential things on
because Lupus is always like a
dozens of episodes
Yeah.
seemingly, and it was like this ongoing joke of like it's never Lupus, but then one time it was Lupus. Oliver Hart in that picture. And yet, you would insist on denying its existence? Herc! Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold!
Ooh.
This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. What if he just fucking drew a stick figure? It's like, look, it's a murder. What are they gonna do? Carbon date it to find out what year it was made? Like, how do you tell?
Yeah, he's like drawing this like behind his desk right now.
Yeah.
He's like
There's supposed to be a whole chain of custody for evidence, otherwise you can't even verify that it is real evidence.
he drew it right now.
Yeah.
He's like, here, see?
Please turn it over, Your Honor.
Turn it over. Turn it. Ah! What's this?
He's like, actually, what is this? I can't tell.
Yes, what is that? What's wrong with you guys?
Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew.
Why is this sideways? Are they okay. Okay, that's not really a point of confusion. Not that they're actually going to be confused by it being sideways.
And
I'm
the
like,
game makes you turn it.
Yeah,
to like,
yeah.
turn it to the proper position.
Like, are you insane? Are you children?
Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here.
That's not what I mean, I wouldn't call it
Wrestling.
that.
What is the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list.
But PIC.
Huh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one.
Like I said, it says page 1 of 2, and then page 2 of 2. Like there's
yeah.
no way you could not, like.
Yeah, it would clearly say page 1 of 2, and you'd be like, "Where's the other page?"
Or it's like there's like there's a hole where there was once a staple. Like, I don't know.
We went full circle. We got to deliver to Edgeworth an updated autopsy report.
Ha ha ha! Got him.
You can see the marks here.
See?
They were torn apart
See?
from each other.
Even the judge can see it.
So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. You got cucked.
How's it feel?
How does it feel to be a bitch? 2 years ago, only half the evidence in this case ever reached you. And you just constantly don't read your paperwork, apparently? Like,
That's like his one flaw is that he's really bad at paperwork.
even though it seems like he couldn't have gotten where he is by being this bad at this. Order. But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Duh.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? I hate that his name is Wright, because it's too much of a commonly used word.
I know.
Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there must be more of the drawing on the back of Edgeworth's list.
That's not...
Is there?
No, why would...
That's not a logical connection at all. You can't just throw out those assumptions like that. That's cray-cray.
Why would she draw it on two pieces of paper that were connected to each other? Like, why would she, like, lay out two pieces of paper?
It's not a fucking mural.
Yeah.
Yes, that's quite conceivable. No. Don't pat yourself on the back, author, by just saying, yes, aha, that my plot point does make sense. I'll have another character confirm it. Mr. Edgeworth? It's possible, technically, that... What?
What? Did he never look at it? Did he never look at it?
Why wouldn't you just flip it over to be like, is there any more?
Edgeworth, I thought you were, like, more competent. But
No.
you're kind of fucking up now. Like,
He's only a child's idea of competent.
is that...
Because it's for kids games,
Well, it
so
fooled
he's
me.
got like really embarrassing mistakes.
His suit fooled me, because I thought he
Yeah.
was competent, so I must be a child.
He's like competent for a Dora the Explorer character.
Yeah,
That's what
I guess the bar's low.
What happens when the mysteries are written for kids? Like, this is the standard of... God damn it.
Like,
Edgeworth, just do your homework. Do your fucking homework, Edgeworth. Read papers you're given. Look at stuff.
He's too busy tying his
Listen to
necktie every
people
day.
when they talk to you. He doesn't have to tie that. That's just a whoop.
He's too busy fooping it.
He just loops it around and whoops it.
He's too busy with the foop.
That's just a fucking... That's just the first part of tying a knot, where you just do the little... They just loop them through each other, and you don't even do the bunny ears yet. It's just, you just coil them. That's all it is. He just wraps it around his neck, and then it goes in the front, and it sticks over.
The twist is that Edgeworth, the only reason he dresses this entire outfit this way is because he has to build it around the fact that he doesn't know how to tie a tie.
No one does.
So he made yeah, I know, we tried that one time.
Every tie you've ever seen was a clip-on.
He had to build his whole persona around it because
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I have to use this instead.
Yeah,
I got to build a whole outfit around it.
Yeah, I wore a tie for Halloween, and I got it pretty right-ish by just looking it up
Right-ish,
online.
like 80% maybe.
And then you were like, that's wrong, I'll do it. And then you couldn't even
And I
remote-
left
you
it at
couldn't e-
60%.
You couldn't even kind of do it. It wasn't working at all.
You should have never let me do
And
that.
so I just did it again and left it like that. We were confounded by a piece of cloth that's straight. And like, how do you do it? It's impossible. Ah! We're all pretend adults.
every like instructional video or thing I found, it seemed like it was missing steps, like when you're doing origami, and it's like,
Yeah.
how did you get from 3 to 4? I don't know how it got there. Like, you're not explaining to me how you did this.
Yeah. It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Is somebody under your pew? Like, what's going on right now? That was just a lot of in that face. like it's was that Wedding Crashers?
Maybe I was thinking of Police Academy.
Was he the one where Vince Vaughn?
I think it's in Police Academy.
Vince Vaughn's being sexually assaulted at dinner. Whatever movie that was.
I think it's Police Academy where there's like the principal or whoever is like doing their speech, sergeant or whatever, and then they hire a hooker to sit under the stand while he makes the speech, and it like half embarrasses him, but he's also like half thankful, so he's like whatever.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Either way, that's assault. It's not consensual. Be good.